all that shit was like the most important thing ever.
Yeah.
And it's like, you fucking touch my chives, I will kill you.
I mean, that sort of competitive line coding, I feel like doesn't
especially
happen
in Boston.
anymore.
If you've never been to Boston, somebody will bite your fucking head off.
For sure. Hey, fuck you, motherfucker. I know how it is, man. It's the Northeast. That's a strong mentality. It's not because it's dark 8 months out of the year.
Combination of New Jersey and Boston was. I had to learn how to be different when I moved to California.
For sure. I mean, you know what? In those kitchens where you have to be that aggressive, where the other guys, they're not out to fuck you, but they're definitely out to get the best bunch of parsley in house. Yeah. And you better be on that same wavelength. That makes you better. Regardless of anybody nowadays saying like, oh, well, that's a little negative or that's a little aggressive. At the end of the day, it's like you're playing a sport, which is like you're trying to be the best team in that sport, So that's
an amazing restaurant
for sure. Yeah. Now, after you left there, did you move up past the canapé station there?
Yeah. So I went canapé to it was a proper brigade. So each section had their chef de partie, their sous chef, their entremet, and then their commis. Mm-hmm. So everyone started as commis, and then it's kind of where you go from there. So I went commis to canapé to chef de partie, garde manger to fish entremet to fish de partie, chef de partie.
Wow.
So that all happened just under 2 years or something like that. And then, long story short, they wanted me to be sous chef, and I was like,
no, it's not the time.
I gotta learn some more shit. I gotta learn some more shit. And for me, what was missing was vegetables. So I was just like, I need to learn more about vegetables. They were kind of an afterthought in this restaurant. It was like a child of 11 Madison Park and a French Laundry, per se.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, luxury and truffles and caviar. And, the vegetable part of it was just an afterthought. And I was like, where am I going to learn this? So I wanted to travel, wanted to go to a restaurant with, big farm and things like that. So I started looking.
What did you find when you started looking?
Dunkeld, so the Royal Mail Hotel out in Australia. So prior to that, though, somebody had gotten me. Actually, it was Hazel Whitmore.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, Hazel Whitmore, no way. Whoa, you're bringing them back.
Yeah, she got me the Attica, or I guess it's called Origin, but the Attica cookbook.
Okay.
And I was just like, what the fuck is this? I need to go here. So I emailed them every single day for like months. Nothing. So I was emailing them, and then Ben Sucio of Birch told me about the Royal Mail. And I was like actually like way intrigued in that. So
at that time, you knew Ben Sucio. Mm-hmm. I had no fucking clue that guy was until years after. Now, where was he in all this? He was working for Matt Jennings, no?
At this point, I think he had opened up the Dorrance.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
So
okay. After
it's probably the Dorrance pre-Birch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a guess. So sorry if I fucked that up.
No,
I think it's probably proper. Yeah. So yeah, I was just talking to him about traveling and stuff, and he told me about the mail. So while emailing Attica like a psycho, I started sending
I know
them.
Ben Shuri too. He's the calmest, most gentlest guy. He's
so
like, what is like fucking want here?
Yeah. And then so the mail was like, yeah, come out. I was like, cool, I'll just try this. And then still kind of attack Attica, but some.
The fuck? You hear that, people? That's my alarm. It means wake the fuck up.
Wake up at this time.
Sometimes you take a nap. Work is never done.
Ever.
Right.
So yeah, long story short, get accepted to the mail. If you don't know about this is like my introductory to remote restaurants. This is like 4 hours outside Melbourne, in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. The town is very similar to Elk. Probably same population, which is like 250, a post office, a general store.
Yeah.
And that's fucking it.
And up until this point, you have been working in cities. You've been going to school in Providence, so you were not used to this.
Yeah, I was taking the bus out there, and I was just like, am I on the right fucking bus? Like, this is... Yeah. Like, every time we pulled over for a stop, I was like, I hope this is not it. And then we finally get there, I'm like, this is fucking it.
Yeah.
And there's just like imagine tumbleweeds. Like, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Worked there for a while. Dan Hunter was the chef. You would probably know him now of Bray. But massive gardens, just kind of like that natural style of food. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. But 4 months into that, he announced his departure. So I was like, I'm not gonna stay out here.
How long was he had been out there?
Like 7 years.
Oh wow!
So it was like it was an amazing restaurant. Yeah, and it was so boring that I started offering my week. Like we worked hard. Like we started in the morning at 7, picking everything for that day. So that was my first introduction to like, okay, pick it in hours. It's on the plate, and I was like, well, there's no going back.
Exactly.
This is it. So basically, on my weekends though, we lived in this like cabin, 2.5 miles away from the restaurant, down a dirt road, no TV, like nothing. So I started to do these pop-ups with an ex-chef from there in the city in Melbourne on my weekend, just like work. He gave me a couple, like $100 or something like that, and I was like, cool, I get to see some other food and get out of Dunkeld for the weekend. And his partner in the pop-ups was a guy named Peter Gunn, who was the sous chef at Attica. So, boom, I got my fucking
connection.
Yeah, so did a couple of these pop-ups with Peter, and I was like, hey, I've been trying to get in. Like, can you get me in? And he got me into Attica. So that was like my whole goal. So basically, like, I flew with a one-way ticket to Australia, being like, I got to get into this fucking restaurant somehow.
Yeah.
And somehow got in.
You got there, man. Hell yeah, dude. Through perseverance, So you get to Attica, and what's that like? You meet Ben Shuri for the first time.
He's so nice. Why is this guy so nice? Chef, dude. Nah, he's amazing. So I think probably my first experience with like just a really nice chef.
For sure.
You start there, you're like outside during service doing like marshmallows or something, or like cleaning carrots or just prepping and stuff. And I remember like my first couple days there, it was like raining outside. And I had like a fucking big raincoat on. I'm like scrubbing all the carrots from the garden. And he comes out with a coat on. I'm like, what's up, chef? You heading to the garden? He's like, nah, mate. Here to help you. And I'm like, middle of service in the downpour. He just like wanted to get to like know me. It's like crazy.
Dude, that's a leader right there. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's somebody that
but he would be in there at 7 a.m, knocking out, what the hell was he making? Club sandwiches for staff meal. Because he was bragging about how his club sandwich is the best. He busted out. This guy busted out the electric knife to cut the crust off. It was like all the bacon was grammed out. I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
It's like club sandwich.
Yeah,
love that.
Yeah, so that was amazing.
Dude, when he came over, he did this dinner. It was Friends of Ben Shuri dinner. Chef from Komi was there. We had a couple other people, but he had this dish. It was yeasted potatoes and mint. Just like potatoes, new potatoes cooked for 7 minutes in a bag.
Yeah,
just
what
like
was
literally
I know
just
this dish.
cooked.
No, I know this dish.
And like spring
medium rare, he called it.
Yeah,
like
medium rare potatoes. Yeah, so they had bite to them, but they were still a little cooked. And he just put them in this yeast butter, and then he covered them with all types of mint. And it was like, still to this day, I'm like, how? Because I've tried to do it over and over again, and I'm like,
it's probably the type of potato. It was like this Virginia roast potato they use for the. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Right, it's famous. But, something like this, right? For the potato cooked in the earth, it was grown, and it accepted moisture different than other potatoes.
Exactly.
So you could steam it covered in dirt, and it would cook like perfectly all the way through without any variance.
That's wild. So when you're there, you're cleaning carrots. When did you move into the kitchen?
Maybe like a couple weeks.
Okay.
So I ended up with like the best job there. So I would like, it was almost like, I'm not gonna call myself a tournant, but like I ended up spending. So in Australia, when you work somewhere, you can only spend 6 months. And he was kind enough to pay me, so thank you. So I was getting paid, and basically my visa only had 6 months left anyway.
Yeah.
So basically, after a couple months, I was like, I would work starters, and then I would just follow the service through the kitchen. So I would just be like,
so we're
end up on pastry.
Are we talking about one seating here?
Two.
2
So we just
seasons.
like, do all the snacks and the starters, and then kind of just follow the push. So for like the way my mind works, that's like the best.
Exactly.
I just like want to be in it the whole time. So
yeah, there's nothing worse than being on a station and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get hit in half an hour.
Yeah.
And then it all comes in like 20 minutes, and then you're like, yeah, that's it. So you worked there 6 months after that. Unfortunately you had to leave.
Yeah.
What was that like, kind of transitioning from there? Was
So
Ben sad to see you go? Did he want you to stay?
I don't know. I was just like, I'm trying to remember. Australia is it's cool, but it's fucking expensive there, man.
Okay.
Like, you can't even, like, I was like walking to and from work because, staging and stuff. Like, yeah, I was getting paid, but I was like sharing a room with someone and living in hostels, and I was just like, all right, I'm ready for the next thing.
Yeah,
so I was just like pretty ready to go. While there, though, I met this guy named Jeff Downs, who had done the Ryugen thing already, and kind of like put me onto it. So I do a year in Australia. I get to work at these tube restaurants, like the vegetable thing. I'm like, okay, like this is fucking awesome. Like, this is the standard now. What's next? Fish. Why the hell am I going to do that? Clearly, you're going to go to Japan.
For sure, yeah.
So got to connect into Japan. So send some emails to Ryugen, and to go to the branch in Tokyo, the 3-star. They wanted me to go to Hong Kong first and stage for my stage. And I was like,
so you had to stage for a stage.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, I know it's hard to penetrate Japanese culture. Like, they do not let you do anything.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty. I was into it.
Yeah.
Like Hong Kong for a month. They're the 2-star there.
Where did you live in Hong Kong?
They put you up.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. Like, I mean, it's expensive restaurants, so I get where the money's coming from. They flew me there, and then flew me to Japan afterwards, and like put you up for housing the whole time.
Damn.
Yeah.
It felt like a straight baller.
I was like, I'm rich.
They need me.
No, it was just like, all right. I thought I was moving to Australia for 4 months, and as the story goes on, you'll find out that wasn't the case. But you know what I mean? Like, doing this whole like staging thing, you meet. It's not even about the restaurant or that chef. It's the cooks you meet. Exactly. Where you learn everything, man. Like, the guy standing next to you is from wherever, and he knows a better way to do this. And it's like, it's the most important thing that you could do is be accepting to, every day in your environment, who knows what, learning things, taking things in, and not like, because there's a lot of people that do stage and they're just like, oh, I'm just here because it's the number 2, and they don't learn shit.
Yeah.
But if you were there to really take it in and appreciate not just like the restaurant but the culture, it can completely change you.
For sure.
So,
wow, that's sad. When you hear the stages go out there and it's like,
it's
a number
just
2.
the name game. Yeah,
it's just like, come on, man.
And I felt when I went out there, I was a decent cook. I had good knife skills, and I understood heat and temperatures, and I had a good foundation, because you meet so many people that they can't fucking cook, and there's 15 stars on the resume, but they've never worked a section. They don't know how to organize it, and they're just kind of playing themselves.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So how long was your time there?
So 3 months at Ryugen.
Okay.
Yeah, so gotcha. It was like...
Was it the language barrier? Was that...
Yeah, there's like no English.
Yeah.
So, eventually... So the first 2 weeks, you stand in the corner and just don't fucking touch anything. And after the first week, most of like the Western people just don't come back.
So, because you didn't get to touch anything?
Yeah. Okay. So you just do the dishes, stand in front of the fridge, move when it's time to move, and it's 14 hours a day and 6 days a week. And, and then eventually someone hands you like a bunch of Mitsuba, and they're like, cut this. And you cut it. Fuck it up. And like, that's your job for like a couple days. Okay. And then you get another job and another job. And like, by the end of it, I was doing like quite a bit of prep, and I like learned a ton. And like, my chef de party, like, he would like kick me and like get mad at me and shit, but like, he respected me.
Yeah.
Like, because he was just giving me, like, by the end of it, I was doing like a lot of like most of his fucking work. I just like was able to really take it in and try and understand, and like show him respect by okay, I'm going to try and learn the name of my ingredients, and I'm going to learn what everything is called, just so, you know, you don't have to try and tell me something in English. You know? So just be engaged.
Anticipating his needs.
Yeah, and show up, you know, show up with the commies in the morning and be there early and just work my ass off every single day. So by the end of it, he's like, you should stay. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. Like,